4, 3, 2, 1. I told you before to be careful where you put your legs.
I was only trying to be helpful.
I could help myself. What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on. What are you waiting for? Come on. Come on.
For 7 decades, Michael Caine has been among the world's most renowned and recognisable actors.
It was just what I needed. A 1-inch god with a 2-inch penis.
The star of classics like Zulu, The Man Who Would Be King, and The Cider House Rules.
It's a miracle no one was killed.
But also films that brought his career to the brink of complete implosion.
I made a mistake.
Somehow, he has always found a way back.
You're a big man, but you're in bad shape. With me, it's a full-time job.
In this epic podcast series, we will watch and review every Michael Caine movie, from the greatest hits...
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off!
...to the incredible misses.
You failed to maintain your weapon, son.
And take a deep dive into the life and work of one of the world's most recognisable film stars.
His name is Michael Caine, and no one will forget his name.
Behave yourself.
To understand how he has made the mark of Caine.
Well, you all settled in? Right, we can begin. For God's sake, come in!
Hello and welcome to The Mark of Caine, our ongoing fun run through the films of Michael Caine, watching every last bloody one of them. My name is Michael Foley, and I'm joined as always by Stephen Black of the Mellow News. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and if this is a fun run, I'm the moron at the back wearing the old-timey diver suit, taking 14 months to finish it.
Yeah, and I'm the one wearing the denim shorts who really didn't think it through. The chafing, it was fine for the first bit. I felt good in the first like a little bit felt good, but like just it's going on and now, and it's everything's starting to chafe.
No, everything needs talcum powder. We need a brisk application of talc to our brains.
Oh God,
to our mental nethers.
It's been tough, but look, we just got to keep going. We're in this. We're in the middle of Caine's 70s output now. I would think he did 23 films in that period of time, and this one today I think is number 11 or 12. So we're halfway there. We're halfway there, and look at the wonders that are ahead of us. The Swarm.
Yes, I gaze behind me at the ocean of vomit and look in anticipation towards the ocean of diarrhea.
Yeah, The Swarm, Ashanti, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, not the Poseidon Adventure itself, but the bit beyond.
But beyond it,
beyond
more Poseidon,
right?
Even more adventure-y.
There's a film called Silver Bears that's coming up with Jay Leno in it. I mean, my God.
Oh, Jay Leno. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, that's the guy. It's uncanny. That's incredible. That was an incredible.
I like cats. I like cats.
My God,
do you like cats?
Yeah, it's a bit like Jay Leno chipmunk style there. A bit too much for me. Anyway, last time out. To be fair, let's chime a positive note here. The last time out, we were very pleasantly surprised by light-hearted apartheid romp, The Willoughby Conspiracy. But we did like it.
Yeah.
It was the kind of movie we hoped to find, a bit of a gem out of nowhere.
Yes, to put it in parenty terms, a rare dry night in a month full of soiled bed linen. Let's put it that way.
Oh, we've been doing a lot of washing, and we've not got a lot of sleep. Yeah, it's been a veritable buffet of all sorts through the 70s. But in this episode, anyway, we have Caine as a writer inflicting his paranoias about his marriage and his wife. Yeah, go on. What were you going to say?
No, just a writer again. Another writer.
Yeah. As you said a long time ago, this is a recurring thing. He seems to like playing writers. He's playing opposite Glenda Jackson, who appears to completely freak out Caine on set because she's pretty comfortable with the body and she's no problem with the naked. And there is a fair degree of flesh on show here. I'm glad to say that Caine stays buttoned up in his pajamas at all times. In this romantic drama type thing from 1975, this is The Romantic Englishwoman.
I came for the waters. Yes?
Elizabeth? Where were you?
Louis? What is it?
Nothing. You sounded odd. You still sound odd. Where were you?
I was in the bar.
I've been calling for half an hour.
I
Elizabeth?
I'm coming home, Lewis. Tomorrow.
It's a kind of a stew of whatever, really, isn't it? It's like rich people talking the audience into a coma, basically.
Yeah, we're back to similar to a vein that Caine mined a few episodes ago in Z versus Company. I would have watched Z versus Company, Z and Company, where you have these lives of quiet desperation that are very dull, middle class people who basically don't have enough to do, that they're devoting all their time to extramarital affairs and wondering what it's all about. Yeah. In this case, it's all about Glenda Jackson trying to get her end away with a poet come drug dealer.
Yeah,
which, you know, that old
trope.
That old trope, yeah.
What do lads be thinking about when they be sitting down coming up with a movie? You'd often wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I generally, I've been thinking more as well. I've been looking at this because often you ask me questions and I don't know what to say to them, but I've been reading up an awful lot in improv and the art of improv. And I've learned it's very important to employ yes and.
Oh, okay.
So ask me that question again.
All right. You'd kind of wonder what what lads would be thinking about when they sit down to actually come up with an idea for a movie, wouldn't you?
Yes, and
his balls come spinning back over the net. I don't know what to do with it. It's like a wasp. I know it's hit me in the face. The question has hit me in the face. I can't do it.
So you haven't done the hard yards like I have reading up on this. Like, nah.
No, listen. I'm just here for the conversation. I'm not. That's all I bring to it.
I'm Naomi Osaka, and you've never even seen a tennis court play.
No, I haven't. I only ever played one game of tennis, and I lost the 3 balls we had. I lost them all within three serves, and they were all gone. And I went back to
You're the wrong religion.
I am, and I'm. I just went back to my movie watching, which brings us nicely to here. If I was any good of a tennis player, I probably wouldn't be here. But there we go. These are the roads we take in life. Yeah, this is the Romantic Englishwoman. You know, Caine said something. I think I might have echoed it in the last episode, that he reckoned that this was the part that he was most miscast for in all the years. That's bollocks, because he's played this character or variations of this character, I would say about 5 times now, maybe more. A kind of an annoying, really unlikable middle class sort of guy who's kind of paranoid and not really, just inflicting his own paranoias and his own sort of shit basically on other people. This is a common.
I think basically all he's saying is it's me being cast as somebody as a cuckold is completely unbelievable. No one would believe that a partner of mine would ever want to stray, and that's essentially what he's talking about.
Maybe
he's trying to say basically that Michael Caine is so heterosexual. His lines so pulsating with vim, vigor, and other things that no woman would, so mesmerized by his vim, vigor, and other things that no woman would ever be tempted to stray. And of course, the audience buy into this and in no way would believe
it's unbelievable
that anyone would want to cheat on him. And of course, it's as you say, balls. He's played variations on this and throughout the rest of his career as well.
And will do, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there is a bit of an element, all right, of like, is this what Alfie grew up to become like? You know, seriously, like, there's a lot of coitus interruptus in this film for Caine's character, really, isn't there? There's like moments where the passion is just halted at the worst.
There is, and I suppose we'll get into that, but
yeah,
we need your patented Cainer explainer.
My Cainer explainer. I have decided, right? This is my kind of like thing that I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to shorten these plots right down, right? So here we go. All right, fasten your seatbelts, Maisie. We're off. Okay, so we've got Elizabeth Fielding, played by Glenda Jackson. The film begins with her heading to Baden-Baden on her holidays, where she's half stalked, kind of leered at by this drug trafficking gigolo called Thomas, who's played by Helmut Berger, and she likes it. Back home, McCain's character Lewis, Elizabeth's husband, is convinced she's having an affair on her travels. He's a wealthy writer, and while struggling to write a script, he starts inflicting these fantasies about an affair on his wife, and he invites this idiot drug trafficker who's already lost a big load of heroin and is being pursued by invisible gangsters. He invites him to the house, so he ends up actually employing your man as his secretary, even though no one in the house really seems to like him. The au pair, they have an au pair, of course they do. She seems to like him. But anyway, eventually Elizabeth is so bored and provoked by his presence and her husband, McCain, going on about him, that she actually does end up kind of attempting a bit of a fling with him. Heads off to the continent with Thomas in her Mini, leaving Caine and pretty badly psychologically abused son behind. I think we might get into that. Caine eventually goes after her. The gangsters track Thomas down by following Caine. He gets taken away by the gangsters, and Caine and Glenda Jackson reunite and head home to the grim sight of a house party with all the people there that they know that represent like the boredom that she's been trying to get away from. And that's pretty much the long and the short of the Romantic Englishwoman.
Yeah, so I think the main issue with this is that the Romantic Englishwoman, this is Elizabeth, Glenda Jackson's character here, is you're introduced to her very much like in media res. She's already made the decision to piss off the bed and Baden for clearly to have an affair. She's not going there for the waters. I mean, I'm assuming it was the Ibiza of its day, but she's heading off there to kind of to stray away from poor McCain, and you're not given any context as to why she did this.
No,
they start off with she's already done this thing. You show McCain's character Lewis ringing her constantly, asking what she's doing, paranoid that she might be having an affair, but he's shown to be justified in every single kind of paranoid thought that he has about her. He's 100% on the money, like. And then throughout the movie, they're in no way it's called the Romantic Englishwoman, but she's not romantic. She's a pain in the hole. Like she goes on again. We go back to this quiet life of desperation, right? I think her friend says that her friend played by Kate Nettigan accuses Caine of wanting a wife to stay at home and wash his underpants.
Yeah,
but she doesn't even do that. They have a housekeeper.
They do nothing. These people. They do absolutely nothing.
The only thing she does is go to parties and the occasional bit of gardening.
Actually,
and that's it.
The one thing that she did two things, right?
She played football, sorry.
We got
occasionally remember she had a child and then made an attempt to interact with it.
But she also, did she not fill the dishwasher and put on the washing machine? Which, by the way, in 1975 would have been, they weren't even labour-saving devices. They were like something from outer space to most people. Dishwashers and washing machines. So even the little bit of housework she did was kind of the kind of housework that no one else in the cinema would have been doing. Like,
yeah, I just think that they did a very poor picture of painting her character as you're in no way sympathetic to her plight. I mean, like when she returns home after the lift loving, all we're really privy to are scenes for her idleness, occasional gardening and abortive attempts to have intercourse with her husband. Yeah. I mean, it's bad enough they portray him as weak. They actually have him literally being emasculated by a series of unfortunate cock-blocking interludes, which I believe is one of the Lemony Snicket books.
The cock-blocking is unbelievable. Would you take the, actually, when we're here now, we may as well, right? Yeah. Because we mentioned it twice now. Just take the people through. There are, I think, would we say 2 major cock-blocking episodes for Caine's character that are just unbelievable.
Yeah, the first one, I suppose, the prelude to it is she's come back and she runs through the garden, and the first incident of sporting Caine in this movie is Caine running after her in that old English game, Find the Vagina. Eventually finds her. She disrobes quicker than you can say Lemony Snicket.
The gear,
like really just like
really fast, like
you just get and they're, as they say, in coitus, and then the neighbour shows up, shines his light at the pair of them, and insists on coming over and engaging Lewis in small talk. I'm like, if that happened in real life, possibly the strength of your erection would have knocked him out before you actually got over the hedge to him and fucking pummeled him to death.
Would you, like, if we're that friendly, I can actually tell you to piss off. Can you not see what's going on? Do you not know what this is? It may look odd to you. Yeah.
Do you not know what this is? Do you?
It's like, I'm having sex with the wife on the front lawn. Why are you coming over asking me about my flowers and what's growing and what's not growing?
It's Lawn Sex Thursdays.
It's like, man has a full conversation about it. And I mean, he's like, hello, Mrs. Fielding. And she's like, hello. And she just walks into Starkers, like walks off into the house. It's really weird. Really weird. Really mid-70s and really weird.
Really, yeah, kind of middle class, so aren't we all very cosmopolitan? The second one then is, I suppose, is a more relatable one where, again, McCain is trying to get down and dirty with Glenda Jackson, and again is interrupted by their child crying and looking for attention. Now, he really should have tried to channel the energy of Henry from Hurry Sundown here, but sadly doesn't. Glenda goes off to take care of the child, despite the fact that they have a fucking nanny, and most of the film she doesn't give a shit about the child. She loves her child so much that she literally, drops everything and pisses off the France with the shit poet without giving a second thought.
Oh, it's the most incredibly bad episode of mothering you've seen in a long, long time. Actually, the nudity is quite. He seems like on set, Caine was thrown by the nudity. Glenda Jackson was quite happy to stroll around in the nude on set, which is whatever. But it bothered our married man anyway. And also, he tells a story in one of his books about a young actress. He just says it's a young actress. Now, I presume it's either the au pair or there's like there's a French woman as well that they go to dinner with. Anyway, one of them landed into his dressing room completely naked looking for a cigarette. Caine sent him on her way with a fag and a towel, something to wear. But very, very decent, I would have thought. What else about his performance? Oh, sorry, go on. You have more on the cock blocking.
Not more on the cock blocking, but just I don't think they paint Caine's character as much as enough of a monster to justify what Glenda Jackson actually does to him in terms of literally having sex with the shit poet in a glass house in front of the house, basically in plain sight. There's no part of his behavior that justifies hers.
Yeah.
And that his character is still willing to take her back, goes all the way over, basically, not taking the horse to France, goes over to France to bring her back.
Yes.
And again, like he's so limp that even when he's presented with the opportunity to turn the shit poet over to drug dealers, he demurs. Like, it's like, no, I don't want to be involved in the man's murder. It's like, fuck that. I'd be like, going, yeah, this is exactly where he is. Break everything before you kill him.
I'm telling you, we're learning a lot about you. It's like, if you walk away, there's no coming back. And if I get a chance to nail the guy you're walking away at that,
but this isn't reflective of my morals or anything like that. It's reflective of what you're being presented with on the screen in terms of you have to, like, you don't have to paint him as an out monster, but at least portray their domestic life as being something that's extremely smothering, and she's, she can't leave him because she'd be left with nothing. Well, I mean, there's divorce.
Yeah, let's flip the cards on that though, right? So she goes on her holidays to Baden-Baden, may well be looking for an affair. Maybe she's just maybe she just wants to go away and get some space, because apparently living with two other people in one house plus an au pair is completely smothering. Anyway, whatever. But she's gone anyway, right? She's getting constant phone calls from your man. And when she comes back then, she's getting just battered psychologically. Did you have an affair? Who was it with? Who's the guy? And he eventually goes to the trouble of actually inviting the lad he thinks she might have had an affair with to the house. Like, I mean,
but he doesn't. He doesn't invite him to the house. He pretends that he has. It then transpires that your man follows her to England and then rings her, and then she invites him to the house for dinner. And then, as a result of that, it's a game of one-upmanship. He puts pressure on Elizabeth by saying, "Oh yeah, your man's been in touch. She's coming from dinner," to wind her up.
Yeah.
She then gets a phone call from the shit poet. The shit poet is invited over, and then as a result of her one-upmanship, I can't even speak. Her one-manship, one-upmanship.
Yes.
He invites him to stay. So
but then she wants rid.
She does it. I mean, it's weirdly, really, really weirdly portrayed in terms of the dynamic between her and Thomas. Yeah. Like, she's having these lustful recollections of what happened in the lift. Like, the way that this was portrayed as well. Jesus, the sex.
Was that her fantasy? Was that her fantasy though, or do you think that actually happened? There's six, by the way, for everybody listening, going, what the hell are these people talking about? And very early so she's gone to Baden-Baden. She gets into a lift with Thomas, Helmut Berger, the guy that she ends up having an affair with, and they appear to have sex in the lift, but it's not. I wasn't sure, but
I think it's like it's not exactly fucking a Christopher Nolan kind of did it or did it not happen. It's not a spinning top kind of thing. It's they did. Like what? How else does he know where she's living? It's not a case of nothing's happened between us. But if you're ever in London, this is who I am and this is where I live.
There is fair enough, but there is a lot of sort of jumping between fantasy and reality. Like, I mean, I was actually again surprised. No more than there will be conspiracy with stuff written about it in terms of apartheid and all this. I was actually quite surprised. There is a few articles written about the Romantic Englishwoman and this whole idea about illusion, fantasy, reality, relationships, and all this kind of. I was like, no, sorry, no, lads, I'm not in the market for this. To be brutally honest with you, this just it just feels like one of these. It's like one of these mid-70s midlife crisis, fucking upper middle class people on screen talking at each other. Bit of shouting, kind of just wearing you down to the point that you kind of go, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I kind of get it, but I don't really care if I'm not getting the full whack here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, whatever.
No, and there's no attempt to make you care about anyone.
They're all dislikable. They're all dislikable in the film.
But I mean, that's fine. They can all be dislikable. But I mean, you at least empathise with their position, and I can't really empathise with Glenda Jackson's position because exactly, she's not living in Saudi Arabia. Like, she can piss off at any time she wants in terms of divorce and get a handsome settlement from him. It's not like she's been forced into it. And Mick Caine's character, I have no sympathy for him because he does attempt to smother her, but at the same time, there's no attempt for him to understand her or do anything about that. It's just, no, I'll take her back and that's grand. Things will carry on as usual.
Yeah, once again, it's another Caine movie really where most of the characters are like reptiles. They're just not very nice. In terms of actually going very briefly back to the lift sex, doesn't look great as a kind of a way to do things.
No, I mean, between that, like this kind of steps back to the. Like, if the characters are so unlikable and that you're unrelatable and your protagonist isn't really given enough backstory in terms of this is why she's doing this is why she's behaving the way she's behaving, then the kind of the chemistry between her and Thomas or Helmut Berger would want to be off the charts in order to distract you. It's basically like, well, this is, could it have happened in real life? Oh my goodness. Kind of passion on the screen. And I swear to God, it's about as erotic as a priest's bare arse. Like, I swear to God, if Boston Scientific made two robots and got them to have sex, if they did it in such a way as Glenda Jackson and Berger do on screen here, they would have them stripped for parts. It is. I think there's one stage basically he looks like a fucking truffle pig. He's like fucking. He's there sniffing at her armpit. He's molding. He's like fucking a baker working away at a bit of sourdough. Kneading away at the armpits and the flesh around the thighs. It's like kind of going.
I never knew the armpits were.
It's like that. What's that awful fucking that old parable of the blind monks and the elephant, and one blind monk feels the leg, and it's like, oh, this is a tree trunk, and the other feels the trunk, and he's going, the elephant should go, oh, it's a snake, because they're not seeing the whole picture kind of thing, and that's his approach. That's a terrible It's a terrible fucking parable in the first place, because you'd imagine blind people, fairly sensitive touch. Hang on, this warm leg. I obviously, me being a monk, I sleep under trees. I'm kind of aware that trees aren't warm, so this is probably a leg. Also, it kind of feels like an elephant's trunk here.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to stop you there. Not for the first time on this series. You've kind of done a Blazing Saddles on it, where you've just basically stampeded your way into another film set, into another podcast entirely.
And another thing.
And another thing. That'll be an offshoot to this. It'll be your 45-minute fucking giving away your 45-minute ranking of the best and worst parables. Yeah. That'll go well.
Even that, like, your man Helmut Berger is fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Euro Caine.
Celluloid fucking rot. It's like watching wood rot in the fucking screen when he's on it. Like, he's no charisma, there's nothing about him that would make use of your thing. Oh, I can understand why she's attracted to him. He's charismatic. There's something of the night about him. He's a bit of a rocket or whatever. He's just a bland, mid-level accounting looking lad claiming to be a poet, but who's actually a drug dealer. At no stage, however, is he asked to recite a poem, really, or does he? You think he's got a couple of backup ones, or would be seen to read poetry? No attempt made.
Thank God.
And like, would they piss off the France as well? Like, the whole, it's so mechanical and passionless. It's like the one thing that you could have gotten right in terms of trying to sell the audience on this. And I wouldn't mind, but like Joseph Losey, like, directed the Servant and directed The Go-Between.
Yeah,
these are two strong character studies with a kind of psychosexual element in there as well. As well capable of doing it. It's just, and don't get me wrong, this film is really well, beautifully directed and beautifully shot.
It looks very well. Yeah.
But it's just, not everything could be a hit. They just completely missed the mark in this.
Falls down on the old storyline. Helmut Berger. I mean, he had made a career at this point in time, playing these sort of like kind of sexually ambiguous, slightly androgynous almost characters. He's kind of very hard to, kind of what's he like? It's like pinning jelly to a wall. He's not. You can't really.
And casting that because he can't act. So he's a cipher because he can't act. He's just a blank
canvas. But to me, he was pure camp Austrian Euro Caine. Like, you're not supposed to blow the bloody doors off, darling. He's reading he's reading Mary Poppins. He does Mary Poppins, like he's reading rhymes to the child. That poor child is just so scarred by the end of this film. Himself and Caine, Helmut Berger's character Thomas and Caine, they have a cigar. He has dinner and they have a cigar. You see the length of the cigars? They're about the length of a Cadillac. The boys will be up for days smoking these things. Like, it's just, he just doesn't work on any level. Like, not even funny.
And the subplot about him being a drug dealer is a bizarre thing to introduce.
He's the worst drug trafficker in the history of drug traffickers.
So can we clarify? You said heroin. I thought it was cocaine. Is it heroin?
Look, tomato. Let's call it cocaine.
So he's gotten this. He's introduced bringing this bag full of cocaine that he picks up on the train to Baden-Baden, and gets to the hotel. And until the deal is done, he decides to, as being such a great drugs courier, to store this highly dissolvable substance,
unbelievable,
in the gutters of the roof of the hotel. And of course, it rains. Straight enough, in Germany, a famously arid country.
Yes, indeed.
Rains buckets, dissolves all these drugs.
Unbelievable.
And another thing. So he's chased all the way to England by Hugo Drax from Moonraker, who kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr. made out of Play-Doh. And he's chased for basically a quantity of drugs that I would argue would not keep Richard's goal for more than one day of a stag.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not, Keith. It's a fair old whack of stuff now. In fairness, I'm no expert on these matters.
That's a fucking one recording session of fucking rumours. The people with Mac would have raised through that. It's an inefficient way of dealing. I mean, Hugo Drax is like the head honcho of the organization. He goes, he really believes in the personal touch. It's not like sending out minions to bring your man back. He's out there on the ground.
He's there. He's getting his hands
fucking dressed like the heroin man from Del Monte.
Oh, it's dreadful. The gear is just awful. But he's the worst. I mean, So he even when he hides the drugs, they were in a nice sort of a leather bag. So they were in a brown paper bag that was inside a leather bag. Yeah. He decides, I'll get shot at the leather bag and I'm going to throw it away probably landed about 5 foot from where the drugs were hidden in their brown paper bag, perfectly dissolvable, ready to go. Like, it's just, he's the worst drug trafficker ever. He deserves to get caught.
And the fact that the circles are so small, the social circles are so small, people know who he is in England.
Yes.
That's such a load of balls.
By the way, actually, speaking on that, I mean, they go to this, their social circle, they go out for dinner a couple of times. Both times they go to this supper club. There are two things that occur in this supper club that I have to say made me laugh out loud. Number one was our usual thing about, okay, so there's music playing and every single person on the dance floor is dancing to a completely different song entirely. They're all dancing to different rhythms. It's like one of those silent discos. They've all got their earphones on and they're dancing away to their own tunes. Weird, look very funny. But also, let us a round of applause for drunk Caine.
Yeah, so Caine gets two big moments in this movie. He gets that scene with Kate Nelligan, who he will be acting with again in what seems like an eternity in the Cider House Rules. Oh, wow. But he has this huge rant rant at her character about how boring she is, which is fantastic. And it's nice brilliant to see some of the life in him. And then there's the other scene, as you said there, where he gets slowly more and more ossified at the party.
It's brilliant. He goes from okay, so we've all been there, kid. We know, so you're at the dinner. The dinner is just painful. He's drinking the wine. He's probably mixing, I'd say, grape and grain a little bit, possibly too. Who knows? But anyway, he goes from slurring, then down to shit talk, then to propositioning a girl he has really no hope, where he's dancing away with her and he's kind of whispering sweet nothings. Basically, do you want to go to the kitchen? And it's like, no. Down to then not being able to pronounce the basic words. And I mean, to be fair, I'd like to think Tom Stoppard, by the way, wrote this script, the great playwright. I'd like to think that Tom Stoppard decided, I'm going to put Glenda Jackson's character in Baden-Baden. So Mick Caine's character, when he's drunk, has to try and say Baden-Baden. It's like
Possibly, and the whole thing ends up with him crying then in the car on the way home.
Yeah, all it's short. All it really is short.
A proper night out.
A proper night out. All it's short is a bag of chips and a puke. That's all that's missing. It's brilliant. It's like it's one of the best things he's done.
That's why he was crying. That's why she was crying. That's why he was crying. Glenda wouldn't stop on the way home to pick up a snack box.
No chips for you. You're a disgrace.
You're a disgrace. You shame me. You shamed our family. We won't be able to go back to that shit supper restaurant no more.
Not until you go back with your like automaton lover, where he will meet like some other gangster dude who recognizes him and blah, 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 blah.
I came for the waters. I came for the waters.
Anyway, you mentioned Sports Caine before, so he did a bit of running. Not great. I think, to be fair though, the other bit of Sports Caine we get is some good football skills, good solid football skills. He's playing football with the kid. Positive sign of things to come. Escape to victory, which, good God, it's only 6 years away. 6 years away, but it's his best display yet, I would suggest anyway.
I'll bow to your knowledge of the sporting world. I thought he was an inferior player when put up against the Glenda Jackson's right peg.
Well, I'll put it this way: he had more precision and more control. And
I should clarify. That's nothing to do with the nudity.
he had more kind of calm and composure on the ball than Jackson. Put yourself in this position. I'm sure there are some parents listening. You're out kicking ball with your son or your daughter, and they kick the ball to you. Now you have a choice. You don't really have a choice. You pass it back. You pass a side foot pass back. He does it well. He controls the ball well when he comes to and passes it back. Glenda Jackson's approach, bit more kind of Ireland, late 80s, early 90s under Jack Charlton. She hoofs it long. She's playing it down the channels. Basically what happens is she's having a stand-up row with Caine. The ball comes towards her and she just horses it miles away. And the child, I don't know, is it Caine or Glenda Jackson, just instructs the child to go and get it. And then she does it again. She kicks it in the complete opposite direction. And Caine definitely tells the kid to go, David, go get the ball, David. Go get the ball. She's making no team as far as I'm concerned. Caine, though, he shows the good composure of a link midfielder. I like the look of him.
Sorry, I left my body there for the last minute. Is that over now? Is it?
Yeah, it is. Where do you want to go next? You can take us somewhere next. Well, no, in fairness, I had to listen to your shit about parables. So look, we're even now. Where do you want to go next?
Very quickly, the very lax HR adherence to HR policy in this household.
Oh, yeah.
Glenda Jackson's summary dismissal of the nanny is not. I don't think it passed muster in any organisation.
Explain what happens.
The child David, no doubt driven demented by the lack of attention and frankly psychotic household that he's growing up in, makes one last ditch attempt for attention by climbing out into the roof of the house. Mm-hmm. Glenda Jackson spots this, brings it back in, goes and finds the nanny is learning English or learning French with the shit poet.
Yeah.
And Glenda Jackson goes fucking mental, slaps her one and then sacks her.
Yeah. Harsh. Very harsh. Very harsh.
No, nothing.
Nothing. She's literally left out on the front doorstep to kind of go, feck off.
that the actress playing the nanny, one wonders, was it a case of maybe that she actually had lines, or after she spoke them, maybe the director decided, yes, you're more of a background player.
Yeah.
Because she just stands and says nothing for an awful lot. I mean, it's literally like, you had lines here, but we don't have the budget to dub them, or there's something else going on here. You can't you stand and look longingly at whoever else is in frame with you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was essentially it. It's well, I mean, of course, she gets the child in off the roof, gives him a good shake, tells him he's terrible, then goes and slaps the au pair.
That's how you tell the child it's okay. You give him a good shake, and if you hear the rattle on the inside, that means they're still operating.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think that was more. That would have been better applied to the lover, to be honest. The Caine glasses were away from the black rims. It's like a spidery kind of narrow kind of.
Yeah, he's Picardigan in this. He's again to do everything to make. Yeah. He is Picardigan, and he's doubted up here. He's basically made it up as unattractive as possible. It's like She's All That, like it's a nice attractive man like him. He's all dowdied up so that no one could possibly find him attractive.
And you know what? That's kind of pretty much the story with Caine. Like, he's not given much to work with in terms of his script. No. He's not really given much leeway to move out of this kind of cuckolded character that he's playing. It's when he gets the opportunity, like drunk Caine, like shouting Caine, he does it brilliantly. You can see he's good. It's Glenda Jackson's show, really. She is, and I mean, look, it's not a great film, but she's decent in it. Like, she is good. I mean, you can see she's good, but it's just not.
She's good, but she's been given nothing to go on, and it's she does the best she can.
Now, I want to play a game. Okay, you ready? I'm going to be asking this.
All right, Jigsaw.
Okay, let's go. All right, this is basically, I'm calling this Caine versus the heavyweights, right? So he's Glenda Jackson at this point. I think she'd won 2 Oscars at this stage. So she's an out-and-out acting heavyweight at this clearly an out-and-out acting heavyweight in this movie. But he's now played at this point a number of very, very well-known actors, iconic figures. So I'm going to put Caine up against him in each of their movie. I want to tell you who's coming out. Tell me who's coming out on top. All right, you ready? Okay.
Like, is this on top? Is this a sexual thing, or is it terms they've done the best?
Yeah, him and John Mills. Yeah. Him and John Mills. Who's leading there? Okay, let's go. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so I want you to do. Okay, first up, Caine versus Shirley MacLaine. So I want Gambit and Women ×7. Who comes out on top there?
MacLaine.
On both cases?
Yes.
Okay.
Like Gambit, it's her film. She's the lead. He's the supporting actor. And in Women ×7, he has no lines and thinks he is a silent movie screen star, and he cannot do the slap of the stick.
He is not.
Much like this movie, he has no luck with the slapping of the stick.
No. Very good. Right, hurry sundown. Caine versus Jane Fonda.
Oh, this is what's that? Is it Rocky? Is it the end? Is it Rocky 2 at the end where they're both on the canvas and they're kind of crawling towards the rope to try to stand up?
Yeah.
It's that kind of situation.
You got to pick a winner.
How can you pick? I would say Jane Fonda, because at least she gets to leave before the end of the movie.
She does. Okay, this is a tag team effort for him now in the wrong box. So it's Caine versus Mills and Richardson. Ralph Richardson, by the way.
Ralph Richardson is god awful.
They're all terrible in this.
He's put his ACL on the way walking into the ring, so he's done. And
they're all terrible.
They're all terrible. Caine by maybe 2 points.
Caine just about, and I mean they're terrible. Okay, then we skip along to $1 Billion Brain. Karen Malden, on the waterfront. Caine versus Malden.
Caine.
Yeah, I would agree there. Now, Caine versus Tony Quinn. And I want you to take the Megas with Quinn and also Quinn in the Marseille contract. Tony Quinn, I love everybody. I love life.
You I love life and I fuck like a bull.
Yeah, I hate the guy.
Yeah, I'm ambivalent towards him, so I'll give it to Caine just on moral grounds.
On both counts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Caine versus Noel Coward in The Italian Job. Ooh, I'm surprised you're giving this some thought. But Coward is excellent. Caine, of course, one of his great roles.
Coward is excellent. I suppose the issue with the match is that Caine will probably be distracted by Noel's giant erection.
He would batter him with bon mots and one-liners. Don't stop talking to me like that.
Yes, I would say Caine.
Caine. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Jumping along to the Last Valley. Remember that? Caine versus Omar Sharif.
I hate Omar Sharif. Omar Sharif's the same in everything he's in. And this is an awful simpering role that he played. Oh,
it's terrible.
Wandering scene to scene like a fucking opium addict. No.
Okay, we've got a couple of more. We've got a few more to go now. Okay. Caine versus Liz Taylor in Z & Co. Oh my God, I'm shuddering even mentioning the name.
Caine.
Caine's doing very well.
I hate Liz Taylor in it. I like Liz Taylor as an excellent actress, but that was just an awful role.
Oh, man.
An awful movie. Awful performance.
Speaking
again, if you could have some sort of mutually assured destruction bout, it's about more WWE when they're both, one of them's about to, be declared the winner, and then the manager of the opposing wrestler just comes up behind him and batters him over the head with a chair. That's the kind of scenario I'd like for Z & Co.
Pulp. Caine versus Mickey Rooney. I'm still a star. Look at me.
God, but Mickey Rooney is awful in it, and Mickey Rooney is
Caine's awful in it too.
Again, nobody deserves to win here. I mean, the only winners here surely are the audience who get to see a man in his 30s beat Leather, a man in his late 60s. He's got the reach. He's got the height advantage. He's got the reach in him as well. Rooney's not getting anywhere near him, not even for a clinch.
He's going to use him as a basketball. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I think you're straying slightly too far into the who would win a fight between one of these two. I'm thinking of performances, right? So Caine versus Olivier in Sleuth.
Oh, Olivier,
okay.
Yeah,
and we're down to the last couple now. Caine versus Poitier in Wilby, in the Wilby conspiracy.
Poitier is far more charismatic in that movie. Yeah.
Poitier is tremendous. And in this film, the last one, we may as well put it in there, Caine versus Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5. He wins out in the Battle of the Heavyweights. Well done, Mick Caine. All right.
Did you leave out the Battle of Britain?
Oh, there were so many he could have been fighting. He was going to lose that all. He's only in it for 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes, the dog acts him off the screen. So I wasn't going to. I just wasn't going to.
I would have seen him fight the dog.
The dog wins that every day. Anything else in this Romantic Englishwoman business that we want to mention? Reading Caine. I noticed that he was reading a Goons show script. These are books that he was reading because, of course, I don't know. Like, I'm the age he's in this movie. I'm around that age now. Do you read when you go to bed?
No,
I don't. I'm gone. Kids gone. I'm out. Right. This guy is reading every fucking night. So he's got the Goon Show script. He's got like a collection of them. A collection of Goon Show scripts. He's reading a Kissinger biog, and quite topically for Mick Caine in another year or two, a short book on income tax rules.
Yeah.
So he's
I don't read. I just sit quietly and contemplate all the people who've done me wrong during the day, and eventually tire myself out and fall asleep.
Yeah. And think about the next Caine movie you have to watch. That's got to send you to sleep very soundly. Oh, The Romantic Englishwoman tomorrow. I can't wait. Anything else to say? I don't think there is. Is there anything
no,
on your
I
mind?
think we've dissected this corpse to the extent whereby we can't really tell that it was originally a body.
No. Okay, we are on to Marks for Caine. Marks for Caine, no, not for the movie, but for his performance in The Romantic Englishwoman.
I think we're getting down to the old 70s slump of 5 or 6 here.
Yeah, it's kind of 5 seems to be kind of like, average to below average Caine in the 70s, isn't it? We're giving him another 5.
Yeah. We're giving him another 5, I think.
I think 5. And so I think we leave Caine in that moment, eternally gurning.
What about much like Michael Caine looking at Glenda Jackson's naked, we turn our eyes very quickly away towards that.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, and I think much like Michael Caine turning his eyes very, very quickly away in mortification from Glenda Jackson's naked form, we'll move on to bigger, better, greater, classic things. We're on our roll of movies, beginning with the word "the," but this one is the ultimate "the" in the career of Caine, or at least joint ultimate "the" alongside the Italian Job, maybe in the Cider House Rules. Anyway, next time out, it's The Man Who Would Be King. Woohoo! Yes! Yay!
Fight! Turn! Halt!
not seen it.
Okay, it's wonderful. It's Caine and Connery, Peter Conahan, Daniel Dravitt, Chris Plummer's back. Such a wonderful adventure movie. Now, I'm ordering you now. I'm telling you now, you're not to ruin it. Don't ruin it. Not on me. Not this one.
Not ruin it? How can I ruin it?
Oh, you'll ruin it, all right. You'll find a way. And I'll tell you now, what people will hear, maybe nearly fucking 8 minutes into it, they'll just hear earphones being dropped onto a microphone.
Well, can I ask you this without saying, does a man become king?
Yes.
Well, then I'm 10% on board.
Oh, well.
No more. I don't like these misleading titles. We've talked about this before.
Oh no, this is right on the nose. This is right on the nose. The Man Who Will Be King. What a wonderful film. Looking forward to talking about that. Looking forward to talking about Caine and Connery. Buddies.
This is going to be another one of these fucking things prefaced by 20 minutes teary-eyed reminisce of you sitting in your dressing gown eating fistfuls of fucking roses on Christmas Day, is it?
It is. Do you know what I'm even going to do? You're not
going to wear your dressing gown. You're not going to wear your dressing gown.
No, I'm not. I'm going to actually find the recording of Caine reading If. Now, there you go. What about that?
If is the Rudyard Kipling book upon which it's based, or what? Or they just...
Oh, Lord God Almighty. I'm just not going to bother. It's going to be on the next episode. You find it in the meantime, right? It'll be a little bit. You know what this is now? A little bit like. It'll be like you educating yourself.
I'm not doing extra homework. I'm not doing extra homework. I know. I'm not doing. I'm not looking for extra credit. Just want to fucking stick to the curriculum. I work my way through college and just get the fucking diploma at the end of it. I just want my Caine diploma, looking for a merit distinction. Just going to say it's here on my CV rather than having like a 5-year gap. It's like, so can you explain what you're doing during this period of time? Yeah, I can say I was at Caine University. I graduated, got my diploma, had a brief psychotic breakdown, and then returned to the world.
It's going to be one of those great conversation stuff. So like, have you done anything? Yeah, I just finished up actually watching all the movies that Michael Caine was ever in. All right, yeah, and the person just walks away from the conversation.
Where were the flags where were the red flags that he was having a mental breakdown? Nobody knew. They know he was going to work every day. He was engaging his family, children, and he spent over 52 weeks watching and talking about the entire filmography of Michael Caine.
Oh my God!
All right.
We can't stop. We can't look. We shouldn't be talk. Let's not talk ourselves out of this. We're gone too far anyway. And anyway, The Man Who Will Be King is next. This is marvelous. Okay. There we are. 5 out of 10 for Caine and the Naked Englishwoman. The Naked Englishwoman. The Romantic Englishwoman. She was naked in it though quite a bit. Glenda Jackson, very good. Mick Caine,
you saw everything.
You really did. Right. That's that. Stephen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mick. As usual, like and subscribe on the old platforms there. And if you have any questions about The Man Who Will Be King or about Mick's Christmas reminiscence, maybe you'd like to find out about his favourite Christmas desserts or side dishes or something like that, I don't know.
Trifle?
Just hit us up on Twitter.
Dessert and side dish.
Trifle is disgusting.
Go on, tell them again. What's that Twitter handle?
At Mark Caine 2.
Did we ever find out who about Mark Caine 1 was? We didn't really go down that road, did we?
No, I think it was two lads who decided to do a podcast about all the Caine movies, and then they mysteriously disappeared.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. That's it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Only nice ones, though. Mean comments will make Alfie cry, and no one wants to see that. The Mark Caine podcast is written, researched, and presented by Stephen Black and Michael Foley, and edited by Andrew Foley. Music is composed by Stephen Black. If you'd like to get in touch, you'll find us on Twitter at Mallow News and at Mark Caine 2. And if you enjoyed this episode, you'll find all the rest wherever you get your podcasts. The Mark Caine is a Mallow News 2 Cubes production. See you next time.
Come on.